Full time in Paris, PSG 2, Arsenal 1. Aggregate 3-1 by the side of PSG, and that sums the end of the Arsenal season to vie for any trophy, either in the Premier League and the Champions League. We all know to it that in the Premier League they had already gone ahead, obviously give up, and all their efforts were turned to the Champions League. But guess what? After knocking out Real Madrid, their hopes were really high, but that 1-0 loss at home really costed them a lot. That PSG has gone ahead, obviously come up and really capitalize onto their earlier win, and they've gone ahead to beat Arsenal by 2-1. Arsenal has been knocked out, and we now know who is obviously going to be playing in the finale. At the end of this video, obviously have a snippet look at who do we think can obviously do the needful into that beautiful game of football in there. Smash the like button, comment and share. If you're only watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is my name, and continue to subscribe. Now, Arsenal have been knocked out, and their hopes of really going in through were really sterilized in the 27th minute, where Thomas Partey went ahead, obviously headed that ball, and it really went to the vicinity of Fabian Ruiz, and Fabian Ruiz pulled the trigger with his left foot, and it crossed the line to make it 1-0 for the club of 1-0 for the club of it's 1-0 for the club of PSG, and 2-0 when it came to what we call the aggregates. Now, again, they got a penalty, that is PSG, and guess who saved it? It was David Raya, and I think he really did his part today. But minutes later, Thomas Partey lost the ball at the edge of the Shiners box area, and it was passed to Ashraf Hakimi, and Hakimi hit that ball and it went into the back of the net. So that's how things went ahead, obviously happen in France, and Arsenal were totally humiliated. And Bukayo Saka pulled one back in the 76th minute. That obviously gave Arsenal fans hope that maybe they can turn this around, but they couldn't obviously get an equalizer that obviously pile more pressure onto the lad known as onto the team known as PSG. So that's how things went ahead to end, and I think one of the reasons as to why Arsenal really lost this game of football is the naivety of players like Lewis Kelly. That penalty that comes in through, something that I thought was really soft, but was finally given. That's exactly how things have gone ahead, obviously happen in there. So that is how things are really panning in through for the club of Arsenal, and their season is going to have to come to an end, trophyless again. But there is a positive that people have to obviously come out and really give to Mikel Arteta. Last season in the Champions League, they are knocked out from the quarterfinals, and this season they've been knocked out from the semi-finals. I tell you, however much Arsenal fans wanted the trophy, but if you're talking about improvement in Europe, Arsenal have gone ahead to improve hugely, and in the Premier League, they've also gone ahead to maintain their second place. And I know them being knocked out of the Champions League will obviously see to it, obviously concentrate onto the remaining 3 games where they're obviously going to be playing Liverpool, I think, this weekend. Arsenal are really a very huge force to reckon with come next season, especially in the Champions League. Why? I don't think they're going to lose any pivotal player. I've gone ahead to see Real Madrid saying that they want William Saliba. I don't think he'll obviously go. Thomas Partey, with his contract running down, he's obviously going to be given a new contract by Arsenal, and the manager confirmed to us that talks are really underway for them to obviously offer him a new contract. Then Jorginho leaving, I think he hasn't contributed a lot to this season, and they're not obviously going to be having him in the plans because they plan to bring in another CDM this season. So Kientieni, I know he will leave. Leandro Trossard, he might also leave, but the reinforcements coming in are really going to be very, very, very huge. For example, when you look at Zubimendi or Bruno Guimaraes, you can even talk about another player who goes by the names of Jock Harris or Isak. One of those will obviously be playing for the club of Arsenal in there. So they are really at it. I tell you what, they are really at it, and I think next season they'll have all what it takes to play in the final of the Champions League, as they will have gone to reinforce their squad, and a lot will obviously go their way. So that is Arsenal for you. And I know it's really very painful for Mikel Arteta, because there are certain fans who will obviously say Arteta needs to leave. And these are people that I think have just gone ahead not to understand the game of football, and they're really winning oriented. When you look at Man City, they started to compete for the league for some years, and then they started to win. Even when they won it first in the season of 2011-2012, it took them some other years to obviously win it, because 2012, 2013 was Sir Alex Ferguson. 2013, 2014, I think was that Chelsea, 2014, 2015, I think that's when Pep Guardiola comes in through, and then they went ahead, I think, to start their winning run after Leicester City. You understand? So it took them some time to build, because they started to build way back in 2006 when Shinawatra bought them, and then Shinawatra sold the club to the side coming in from Abu Dhabi. So I don't want to see people obviously say Arteta out. And for everyone who is saying Arteta out, I've always told you football is not meant for you. Why? Improvement has been there for the club of Arsenal, and they've gone ahead to do wonders. So we wait and see how that pans out. Let's obviously get to the stats of the game and see how things panned out. 11 shots by PSG, Arsenal had 19. 6 shots on target by PSG, Arsenal had 4 shots on target. 45% ball possession by PSG, 55% ball possession by Arsenal. 318 passes completed by PSG. Arsenal completed 356 passes. 76% passing accuracy. Arsenal had 79% passing accuracy. Then 11 fouls to both sides. 2 yellow cards to PSG and 4 yellow cards to the side of Arsenal. No red cards was issued. Then 1 offside to both sides and 2 corners to PSG. 6 corners to the side of Arsenal. And this time around, PSG never gave Arsenal any chance to obviously thrive when it came to set piece taking. And out of those 6 corners, I think not at any one moment I felt like PSG was obviously going to concede. So they're into the final to play with Inter Milan. That's PSG for you. And I think, as I told you, that whoever is obviously going to be facing Inter Milan, he's really going to be finding it hard, because look at how they knocked out Barcelona yesterday. With them parking the bus, they could obviously score 4 goals. So if that's the case, you really have to add up certain dots and really understand that, yep, it's really one of those moments where a player should obviously see himself really do that in front of the Champions League finale. So Arsenal preparing for next season. Then we're going to be playing the FIFA Club World Cup. They're not going to be there, so their players will obviously be resting to the fullest. So I call upon for your reactions into the comment section below. Rokani David is my name, and let's hear what your thoughts are about this game. PSG 2, Arsenal 1, aggregate 3-1 in favor of PSG, and they're through, and they're obviously gonna be playing there. So 5 fingers out of everyone watching in through. Good night, Arsenal fans. I know you're really very furious. Most of you are really annoyed. Those that drive cars are like, I don't want to obviously drive my car home, maybe else I get someone else who can obviously help me out. So So that is it. Match reaction done, and I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Bye bye.